Hi everybody, I hope all of you are well and welcome to Imran's third instalment in his kitchen. Today I'm standing for you and not sitting. I want to talk about a lovely instrument, a real hands-on instrument called Disagree and Commit. And if you know this instrument already, then do click the link above in this post, download the PDF, share it and get on with it. For those who would like to have a little bit more and understand how I got to know it, the story behind it, and the context in which you can use it, continue listening. I first got to know the tool about 3 years ago in San Francisco. I had this wonderful opportunity to go and visit Slack's head office. And there I met a guy who takes care of product market fit. His name was James Sherritt. And he took us through an afternoon of how their teams deal with the decision-making process and how they use this instrument, Disagree and Commit. What I'm going to give to you is actually inspiration from him and Slack, and I'm going to put them into 3 contexts to make it easy for you. So let me begin. The first one is when you use Disagree and Commit to gauge how healthy the environment is for your team. If your team members, especially the ones who disagree with a decision, have had the chance to disagree, to have the necessary conflict, to come and be part of the decision the team takes, then you are more likely to get them to commit. And Disagree and Commit is a really good instrument to be able to gauge this environment in which your teams are. Now, there is one simple thing you can use to see if a team can disagree and commit in the decision-making process, and that is to see if there is a hippo in the room. A hippo, if you don't know it, is the highest paid opinion in the room. It's the highest paid person's opinion in the room. And the way this sounds very often is the highest paid person's opinion in the room generally says something like, I think this might be an idea we could do. And the rest of the team take it as a must. Look, the high paid person's opinion has spoken, therefore we need to follow it. So use Disagree and Commit to help you see if you have the right environment in place. Context 2. Context 2 is all about the amount of knowledge you have to make a decision. Now, if you find your team is stuck in its discussions, it is throwing around assumption upon assumption, if there is an endless debate going on and no decisions are being made and it's leading to an action, then Disagree and Commit might be a great way to be able to move the team forward. Here what you do is you take a calculated risk. You say, look, hey, I know that we've only got 60% of the data, maybe 70%, but there is 30 to 40% which is unknown. Will you be willing to take a gamble with me on this course of action? And that is where Disagree and Commit can be an amazing instrument for the team to help it move forward, especially when there is a lot of unknown. And finally, the third context in which I found that Slack used this really well was when it came down to mental stress it creates for team members. If you are about to make a decision and this decision is creating a large amount of mental stress for each and every individual in the team, then it's for you to look at that decision and maybe think about, is it maybe too big of a step? What do I need to do to reduce this mental stress? Very often, and this is how James Sherritt explained it to us at Slack, was they break it down. That means the step you're trying to take is too big, and see how you can break it down to smaller steps that even if a few disagree, they're able to commit, and that means you could come back and check in with the people continuously. Those 3 contexts, don't get me wrong, are not fixed, and I am and always have been a fan of whatever instrumental tool you use that you apply to the context. Do change it, do add to it, do take away from it, but make it work for you. And finally, I think the last thing and the most important thing really is that no matter what tool or instrument you use, ultimately it is about what humans are made to do, and that is to progress. And if you use Disagree and Commit or any other hands-on tool which I have shown you or other people have shown you, make sure it's about progression and helping the team move forward. I hope that's been helpful for you this time around. Like always, I said there is a link above in the post to download the PDF. If you've got a question, do get in touch with me. private message me. I'm up for a chat on any of the standard video platforms, and I would gladly have that talk and chat with you to see how we can create even maybe a new tool. Good. Now over to you. Go away, have a go at this, and do join me back in my kitchen. Maybe I'll be standing, maybe I'll be sitting down, and what we'll be talking about next time is going to be about anxiety and how we can surface that in the tea and deal with it. Thank you and goodbye.